pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who did it, cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill them, you can end up in correction. Some look for the needles and drugs for injection. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, then the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an M. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad, imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain in life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story.
Hello, how are you today? Hello? Well, Chris, if you're speaking and we can't hear you. All right, well, everybody, just bear with us one moment while we get this figured out.
What about now?
I can hear you now.
Oh my gosh.
Look, we got it.
Look, I set up everything before. That's why they need like a before we go live mic check. Like,
Right.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm like feeling anxious because, I closed on my home last week. And so now it's the rating game for like when's the check gonna arrive? So now it's like checking the mailbox religiously, like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it here yet?
Look, I'm sitting here just trying to be tech savvy and, trying to think about the show and get things going right. And it already kicks off just like once again. Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome Back to Black Conscious Convo presents Loving in Color in Colorado. It's August 18th, 2021. I am your host, Chris Lucas Diggins, one half of this dynamic duo, my partner in crime, and always amazing and wonderfully great, Miss Queen Talisa Hawkins. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I hope everyone else is doing great this hump day as well.
Look,
Get your hump on too, everybody.
it is hump day, isn't it?
It is.
There has been a lot of conversation about Black mental health this week. I don't know if you've noticed.
I haven't. I've been in my own world. I've been actually paying attention to the water crisis we're having. So tell me about the Black mental health conversation I missed out on.
Oh, look, tell me about Colorado's water crisis that we're having.
Well, Colorado will probably be all right. But Nevada,
Yeah,
New
I
Mexico,
know Colorado's all right. 'Cause
Arizona, and
damn,
California,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
man.
what they gonna do.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. That ain't got nothing to do with Colorado. Like,
Yeah, because the water starts
we
here, so
we
we get
even
first.
send they ass water. Like,
We get first dibs on the water.
no,
But
I'm just
everybody
saying, no,
else,
like, we send them water. There is an agreement with California that we pump them water.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we're not
That's
even
all
gonna-
about to come to a screeching halt in the next year or two if something don't. Yeah, it's
Look.
looking bad out there. It's looking rough.
and it's sad that all of this is man's fault, man and humans' fault. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
But no. Mental health wise, Lil Wayne did an interview.
Okay, yes, I did hear about. I heard some about that.
I got some clips for us.
Good.
And then there was something that Marlon Wayans, the baby of all the Wayans, he's got 10 brothers and sisters older than
That
him.
family is so beautiful.
Right? He said a lot of people don't realize that coming from a family like that, I have mental health issues too. I'm just gonna play a clip. And
working on new material now. How'd you practice this stuff? I went on the road. I started going on the road. Nigga, Texas was open. Texas was open. Texas, Florida, everything was open. There was no pandemic for three states ever. So I just was like, fuck it.
I don't know if that was too loud for anybody. Can you hear that?
No, if you turned it back to where it was, that was really good. It was nice and clear.
Once I lost my mom,
Say that again.
If you could put it back to the volume you had it at,
I don't care if I just know that I need a stage and I gotta go find some funding because sitting in the house is too much depression for me. So I went out to go make people laugh because that made me laugh. And then I had started the special, rehearsing it before the lockdown. And once lockdown came, I just picked up where I left off, got back on stage and was like, all right, here's the special. And while I was doing that, I started talking about my mom and her death and finding funny in that. I know that sounds crazy to you, but now I already know what my next specialist, and my next one after that. So the more you do it, the better you get. And you just become. I've been doing it 10 years now. So at 10-year mark, you do anything for 10,000 hours, you become an expert at it. So I'm these are my best years. It was crazy. I'm just realizing. I don't think you've been here in 2 years. August, maybe in 2019. You might have been here in 2 years.
That was my little clip.
We can't hear you now.
Oh, that was my little clip.
Yeah. Okay.
What did you think?
That he's got a solid work ethic. And that just like Black people do, he turns lemons into lemonade. We always figure out a way to laugh through our pain, or those are like the two options of emotions that we're allowed to show when we're going through something traumatic or emotional. It's either you get angry, or you figure out a way to make it funny, or some type of self-deprecating kind of joke to help you ease the pain of it, or we shut down. And
Yeah.
so hearing him say that, he used the funny, it's just so relatable, because we all know somebody, or we are that person who is just, saying everything to keep a smile on our face.
I was one of those people. I am like I said, I am a class clown. There are so many things that I had to get over, and I am grateful and thankful for one, as I said, for some reason, God seen a reason to put me into dialysis or lead me towards healthcare. My aunt that I was always around, who's always been like that aunt for me, she always told me about her job in healthcare, which always made me interested in healthcare. She was a nurse. So that's what I also believe like led me into those things, is like the things that are just fulfilling in some way, shape, or form to not just myself but to those around me. Do you feel, because you believe in, like, your faith is the earth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you feel that the earth guides you in your how you've been moving, and like, do you feel like it's helped you in any way with the way that you've moved through life? Because like I said, I've never met a Black woman who decided to get a dating coach, and then decided to do the therapy, and then just basically do the work,
Mm-hmm.
especially from the hood. And it'd be a whole different story if you was like, once again, from bougie Black America.
Right.
Then I would understand.
The
But
bourgeoisie Blacks.
yeah, and that's something that I'm going to be talking about when my show resumes on just the regular Black Conscious Convo, that it resumes on Saturdays. It's coming back to us on September. My first episode is going to be the house nigga.
The bourgeoisie Black folk.
The house nigga. And why? Because the first 65 days of slavery was dismantle and assimilation. And the ones that controlled the dismantle and the assimilation was our own kind. Not just any old kind, those that were obedient and loving of master. And those are the same people that are around today, just their obedience and love of their master is shown differently.
Mm-hmm.
They like to give different forms of analogy of how they like white people. However, what's going on over there?
Yeah, well, for me, because back to what you asked me about my religion and everything, it's way more complicated.
And that is the
I
thing.
sorry, my tongue cut out. But
Oh
I
no.
was saying that for me, it's a little bit more complicated than that because I don't, from what I feel, I don't really believe like the earth is controlling things. My love and
Not
worship
like
of
it's
the earth
controlling.
is more of like a reverence, like an appreciation and like an acknowledgement of like how it is the ultimate life source and how we need it. It's vital. So that's really where my worship and my love of nature come from. But for me, it's more so the ancestors, right? Because I grew up really closely with my grandmother. Me and my mom and my sisters, we all lived with my grandmother. And so, we were always with her. We were fishing, we were in the garden. And it is for her that I live my life. And so a lot of what I do and the way I move and the decisions I make are very much so impacted by making sure that I live a life that would heal her and honor her, because my goal in life is to heal the generational traumas in my own family. And so I live
Breaking
a life
curses.
that's going to heal that. And so I
Totally
only
breaking
take
curses.
steps, and I only take steps that are in line with that. So like I'm working for myself because, working for somebody else doesn't allow me the freedom that I need to be able to do the self work and to take care of myself. So I promise myself that I'm
Amen.
not going to overexert myself because my grandmother did that, my mother did that, my great grandmother did that, my great grandmother did that. No, I'm going to take it easy and take care of myself in a way that they never got to. So that is the things that really drive me. And since I've changed that to be my purpose, every decision that I've made have aligned with that, and everything that I've ever set out to accomplish, I've been able to accomplish. And everything's just working now that that is my purpose.
Okay, see, like, and for me, like, my thing was when I graduated from high school, I was going to do music. So
Mhm.
I left Colorado. I went to Atlanta, went to the Art Institute of Atlanta for music entertainment business management, and found out after I graduated that the music industry does not give a damn about any degree but a law degree and a business manager's degree.
Oh,
But beyond that, like, you could say that you have this high ass degree in marketing, right? But yet a street promoter get more movement in marketing than you, and you'll never get the business that that street promoter is getting. You know what I mean? So it's after that it was okay, let me rethink this because my son's mother was I had sent my son back to his mother for vacation, and my son's mother decided to go to prison.
oh no.
Yeah. Um when she went to prison, shit got real hectic. But once again,
Mhm.
I come back to Colorado. I started working as a janitor at Presbyterian St. Luke's. Um, I moved up from a janitor to a dialysis technician. That's a story within itself. Um, then I was given the opportunity to train to be a nurse. So I was allowed to transfer back to Atlanta, get schooling, and so on and so forth. And while working in healthcare, though, for the 20 years, each place that I went to and each patient that I worked with, our thing was fight for life. Um, at the same time, I didn't know that I would end up with a company buying us out named DaVita, which also means giver of life. um, in Latin. And it's like that's one of the things that I was told to do but never did. Live life, you know? And yeah, there are some mistakes that I did make, but the ones that I should have been making, I didn't get to make, like the ones with dating, right? I didn't get to make those mistakes because I held myself to this standard of, oh, yeah, just because I'm a single dad doesn't mean that I'm gonna have people coming into my child's life in and out. And that was me. But I didn't know the mental strain that I was putting on myself because, like I said, right now I'm having the issue of trying to date and be happy with the person that I've grown to be while remembering the person that I left off when I had a child. Because life wasn't about me when I had my child. For me,
I
I
know
gave,
the feeling.
yeah. So, I don't know if a lot of people do that. You know what I mean? But that was just me.
Not
So,
enough people do, that's for sure.
I mean, I just wasn't going to be that guy that was like, oh yeah, daddy's gonna bring this. You're gonna have like this is your Uncle Little and Uncle Little, or you know what I mean? Like, no, my son knows I have a lot of friends, and a lot of my friends, yes, a lot of my friends are straight. And that's the thing. I love my straight fucking friends. You know what I mean? I don't ever have to hear fucking horrible gay conversation with my straight friends. They're not always trying to pick out what straight person is fucking closet gay. Like every fucking black dude is not fucking closet gay. Like y'all need to stop that shit. And that's one of the reasons why I can't stand black gay dudes, especially feminine gay dudes. Like if y'all's conversation all fucking day, then y'all need to figure out something else. Like I don't give two fucks about. You know
It's
what I mean?
probably just those types of people because I'm sure you can find those whether people are masculine or feminine. So, you
But
know,
that's so fucking irritating. And then it's like
yeah, it's
for
just those
me,
ignorant folks.
well, no, I mean, just like for me, like I said, I'm a guy's guy. I think guys should be guys. Like, I don't understand it. And then I'm supposed to, oh, I was having this conversation with the homie. He's the guy that I was telling you about that was married and now he's single. But
Hmm.
at the same time, we was having this conversation about, you know what I mean, humping. And he was like, yeah, I don't really, he was like, after I really thought about it, he's like, I feel nasty after I hump. So he's like, I just really don't even be doing all that like no more. He's like, I do all the other stuff, but he's like, if we humping, like I really got to be really, really interested in you. Like we've got to know each other. We got some time together. Like if we humping, like he's like, cause he goes, it just feels nasty afterwards. Like you got all that smell. He goes, I don't want to be at my house. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I experience it through other people's conversations when they tell me about what it's like and how it is and all of that stuff. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, no, not crossing that line. There's nothing that's going to make me cross that line. Like, no, but that's the whole to each his own. I
Hmm.
understand that when it comes to that now because I don't get that psychological. but others do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really get why, there's, like 60% of women who haven't experienced an orgasm. I'm just like, how are they
Right.
sleeping?
See?
Are they all sleeping with the same guy? Like,
And
what is
you know what?
happening?
That right there is possible. Look, not to say that, but that is actually possible because um I know a lot of people don't know this when it comes to STDs, as I stated last week with E. coli. I don't know if I was having a conversation on here about E. coli. Um, but I was having a conversation with people about E. coli, and I was telling them when they say E. coli is in the food, they're saying shit is in the food. Okay, somebody took a shit while picking the vegetables, and now all of the vegetables are contaminated with that shit. And
Hmm.
yes, so now if you eat that food, you will catch E. coli. So basically, when people come in to the doctor, which E. coli infections are now up in emergency rooms, and this is only due to people microdosing shit because people like eating their partner's bum.
People
But
nasty.
but see,
You need to
they're
do
saying,
proper cleaning and hygiene.
listen though, they're saying things like, "Oh, I may have gotten it from a restaurant." So then the restaurant is in the report. So you have to have the restaurant checked. Okay, when they tell these things to us, we're documenting these things. I don't think they know this. However, so this information then goes to the health department. The health department then goes and sends somebody over there to check. And then they find nothing. So then that form of E. coli is documented. And when they document it, they do an even more little kind of culture to it just to find out the bio of it, just to find out that it comes from human feces. Direct contact.
Well, that is your science lesson for the day, folks. About
And it's and that is for real, and that is the scientific method though. Like we all know the scientific method, we all know the basics of journalism, right? We
Mm.
know these things because we are taught the First Amendment, why it's protected, right? um and that's where the comprehension of just basics should just be coming in at. um what are you smoking on today?
Today I am smoking on Red Starship. It's a sativa testing at 22% from the Cosmos
Oh
brand.
yeah, look at you.
Yes.
I
I'm
am
bumming it out.
smoking some cake mix from,
Ooh.
yeah, once again from Golden Meds. It is Snackslands Indica, one of two indicas that they have. I mean, it's a hybrid, excuse me, one of the two hybrids that they have.
Mhm.
um it is definitely a half and half. Like on the back end, on the come down, you feel the indica kick in, which makes you tired.
Mm.
But
No.
while you're smoking it, you feel good, nice and energized. So you're like, oh, okay,
I feel great.
yeah, yeah. Um, but when it comes to mental health, do you believe that we all as black people need to sit down with someone, or do you think we can honestly go to our elders or to someone that we know closely?
For me, I think that depends on, you, your belief and things like that. Um, I think that therapy is something that everybody should do. Um, but as far as going to the elders is what I mean by like that depends on you, because I feel for Black Americans, our history, our elders are so very, it's so varied. You got some of them that are real great. You got some of them that are real misogynist. You got some of them who
For
are, stuck in the old ways of thinking, are still very fearful of the white supremacists. So, for Black
and this is
Americans,
why
we don't really have
well,
a
this is why I
real
like Jehovah
solid block of
Witnesses.
elders.
This is where I like Jehovah Witnesses because they have a chair panel of elders. You know what I mean? I think, like, for real, like, I mean, the Black community honestly needs a chair of elders that we can go to and honestly have these honest conversations about our situations because our Black elders have gone through these things,
Hmm.
right?
I mean, some things they can't relate to us with as far as the internet and the way technology is advancing. Some of them are still struggling to catch up with cell phones. So, as far as like interpersonal conversations, maybe, but I know plenty of elders who haven't went to therapy themselves and haven't worked through their own issues, and so you have to be careful that they're not just passing down more fear or just, you know there's some things that were passed down that people just never really questioned or never really said nothing, like how in a lot
I
of
think
churches
that
it's
there
just
are
like,
more Black female and male Bernie Sanders out there that would be able to give wise advice because of their experiences in life. I have met some very wise people. Some people may have not called them educated. At the same
mm,
time, though, like I said, I've met some very wise people. A lot of people, when they get past 75 and 80, don't really care about what we or about what the youth really are worried about. The view is completely different. Not that not that the majority of them are not trying to be like Donald Trump's and Joe Biden's too at the same time. So we also got to think about that. Not all of them are trying to be Democrat or Republican. You know what I mean? Um, just in general, though, like a lot of Black people know that, like, for me, a lot of Black people know that there are gay people in the church. Everybody
mm-hmm,
knows that the choir director, if she's not a female, okay, it's a gay male.
mm-hmm.
Okay, if the piano player or the best singer in the church is not a female, it's normally the gay guy.
Yeah.
And that is okay. You know what I mean? Our parents would say things like, you better not say nothing about God's children, and that's what you was raised with. You better not
That
say
wasn't what
nothing
it
about
was in my church.
I don't and look,
That ain't what it was
I'm
in our
not
church.
speaking on
Every
you.
other, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not speaking on you. I'm speaking on being raised right here in good old Colorado.
Fortunate.
You know what I mean? Like I said, we had a gay mortuary home. We still have one. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We got, and this is Black. We had a Black gay club on the east side, and we don't know what happened to that, but
They shut it down like they do all the black clubs.
pretty much. Then, um, just in general, it's it's amazing how here it was never a big deal. unless you force yourself upon somebody. You know what I mean? Like our parents knew who the people to keep your kids away from, and they told you. I don't know about when you was growing up. I'm saying when we was growing up, you would hear the conversations, you would hear them over the phone, like because everybody had a phone in the house, so there
Hmm.
wasn't no going outside. You know what I mean? Your whole conversation, your whole conversation is being heard in the house, um, by your whole family. So like, especially like kids like me, like I'm just sitting there just listening. I ain't even, you know what I mean? I ain't even paying attention. I'm not even paying attention to the shows that my mama got on because them is my mama's shows. I'm listening to your conversation because your conversation is way more funner than those shows you, and that's what I remember. Like I remember them. The reason why they used to go with us trick or treating. You know what I mean? We have statements of there's a van that people are not allowed to buy because we know it as the Chester child molester van. You know what I mean? That's what we grew up with, right? And I remember we was talking about this last week. Last week I grew up with being told their government is going to come and kick in our doors and put chips in our hands. You understand? And we was gonna be under new world order, and it was gonna be under a lockdown, and everywhere you go, your movements were gonna be tracked, and they're gonna just control your life.
Hmm.
That's what we was raised up on. We heard that all the time. Um,
Yep. Revelations.
and then we go and buy the phone. We buy the phone and have the phone in our hand to the point to where we go to sleep with the phone. How many times you done fell asleep with your phone in your hand?
No. I don't do that.
Oh, you don't fall asleep with your phone in your hand?
No, I tuck it under my pillow
Why do you tuck it under your pillow?
so it don't distract me.
Oh.
If I see the little notifications or whatever, I'll be more inclined to open my eyes and be like, "What's that?"
Okay. Now I put mine on my dresser.
Put it in a safe place. Yeah, I try to put it away because I know it's not good for you. You know, it's not good for the brain.
Mental health wise, how do you feel about
Um,
using your phone?
so I have mixed emotions about my phone, right? Because I really do not like, I don't really like social media, but I'm on social media and I'm trying to like really push myself to be more active on social media. And so I
Yes,
like
because
that, but
you
I
have a
noticed
show
like
that you're on.
yes, but I also have to watch it because I notice how I've become addicted to social media and I start to obsess about stuff. It just becomes like a rabbit hole. I look at one thing and then it's another thing, and then before I know it, 2 hours done gone by, 3 hours done gone by, and I'm just scrolling, 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 watching the video, scrolling, 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 scrolling. So I'm like, trying to manage my own mental health and my own self awareness in my own time by limiting how much I'm on there. If I'm on there with a purpose, and if I'm not doing something, I need to click off and put the phone down.
Have you tried scheduling your life? That's something that I just started doing on a day to day basis. I'm trying to schedule my life to where I know when I'm going to be looking at social media, period. After that point, I'm not going to be looking at social media.
I actually I tried to schedule out my day, but it's following the schedule that's a problem for me. I can sit down and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this at this time and da, 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 and then be on the phone for 2 hours, and now the whole day is off, and so now I'm just like, oh, I'm off on my schedule.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, and it's not easy. And the one thing that the I started with one thing, and that's what they say. And the one thing that I have that I do, as you already know, I go to the gym. So I started with that one thing, and then I plan my day on from that right there. Now, Saturday and Sunday, my days are open until I go do my little thing. But just in general, this past month is not a good. I have not followed my schedule at all. However, um, the the gym is the one thing that I can say that I do keep consistent. And if I can just keep from the gym to everything else, I'll be able to stay consistent with the schedule. But I can only keep the gym. Like I said, I can schedule the gym and go to the gym exactly at that time. However,
I mean, I'm trying to, when I was paying for my gym membership, because I haven't paid for it in a while. But when I was just trying to start going. I was like, I need to just get in there at least 3 times a week. And so I was pretty good at that. And I was doing all right, but it was definitely like I would go one day and then at the very end of the week go 2 days in a row. And so I've always really struggled with being consistent. I've had such a like carefree nature about me that it becomes really difficult for me to provide myself that structure. It's why I really, really enjoy very grounded, very structured, very stoic type of men. They they ground me in my cloudness.
with all the things that you got going on, I totally
Yeah,
understand.
I'll just be
I
floating in the clouds.
It's not that I like I'm interested in what um does this make sense? You
Hmm.
know what a single man can do by themselves, right?
Right.
I'm interested in what is possible between us together if we fight as much as we fight for ourselves, for each other, and others' future.
That's real deep and profound. As you were sitting there talking, I'm like, I don't think I've ever sat back and thought about that. Like what, you could be with someone else. That's so, that's really deep and profound. Very romantic too.
And it's I thank you for that. At the same time though, I don't I've had some great connections with guys just like, you know what I mean, walking through the park and just talk openly and honestly about what they've gone through and what I've gone through, and they just, you know what I mean, and gone on road trips and man, watched TV in the same bed for hours, just laughing, and you know what I mean. Not
Yeah.
even nothing sexual, just in general, just getting to understand them, and then there's where I have to understand if there is a lady that comes into their lives, I have to accept and let go. And that's what I have been doing when it comes to the, because I've been thinking about, like, when you ask me about my relationships, I really haven't had relationships, but I've had great connections at times. And only things that stopped those connections was the fact that their ultimate connection was with the woman creating a life.
Mm.
And I don't take that from them. You know what I mean? Like honestly, I do believe that the individuals that I've had those interesting situations with, they are better men for those women.
Wow.
I mean, like, they just are. Like, I could say one of them is just, there's just mental issues. We'll just say that. But beyond that, beyond that, all the rest of them are great. They're great men for their women. Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's real big of you to say, honestly. To say it that way, and I've never heard it, I guess, from your perspectives before, or from the perspective that you're giving. So that's really unique in itself. Thank you for being open about it. So yeah, I don't have nothing to say. Thanks.
Well, because once again, we're talking about mental health and therapy and being open and honest. And I tell people how honest I am. And when you ask me something, I don't want you to think that I'm blowing it off or that it's not important or that I'm just giving a half-ass answer. These are things that I have honestly never thought about because no one's honestly ever asked me. So, um,
So Lisa, you still on there?
so just like take like this interview with Lil Wayne.
What up, man? How you doing? All good. All good. Man, the honor and the pleasure and the privilege is mine. I got to preface with this because what they don't know is that we don't actually have a relationship, a long-standing relationship. I know you watched the sports show, but then I got a text less than a week ago from you. You like, hey, let me know when you have 5 minutes. I called you and you said I wanted to talk. Why you want to be here today? Figuring I can help, hoping I can help anyone else out there who's dealing with any mental health problems. I just, like you said earlier, about being vulnerable. But to me, I look at it about being brave and stepping.
Okay.
That
I actually saw clips of that, but I didn't get to watch it.
that
I wasn't planning on watching it, but it
that
sounds
was
interesting.
open.
Yeah.
Um, that was deep within itself, right? Um, being vulnerable is also being strong. That's the way he sees it.
That's the way it is. Because it takes a lot to be vulnerable.
And that's the way he sees therapy. Um, check this out though.
I was 12 years old. The school year was kind of ending. So what the school was doing was they was giving us half days on a Thursday and a Friday. I had maybe on a Wednesday as well. But what I would do was just tell my mom that I only had a half a day on one of those days. So therefore I stayed out the rest of the whole day, just like it was a full day. She found out. And so when I got home, I think it was that Friday, whatever, I got home, got a phone call from my aunt. I was like,
She found out, boy, you about to get your ass kicked and all that rapping and all that. She about to take that rap photo. She about to throw that shit away. She about to, and I was like, wow. So all that had built up to me. So that was a build up. I just listened to her, listened to my aunt, like, I hear you. I hear you. Cause she was, she was, boy, you about to get your ass. And she get home, your mama takes it. She actually said she was like, she's taking off. Hung up the phone. Thoughts everywhere. Thoughts everywhere. Main thought was, I'm gonna show you. Main thought was, I'm gonna show you.
What were you gonna show her?
So I picked up the phone. I called the police. Yes, I knew where she kept her gun. And it was in her bedroom. And so I went in her bedroom, grabbed the gun. I already made a phone call. Looked in the mirror, did like that. Of course, it was like, oh. So I got a little too scared out of my head. Like, no. But then I said, fuck it. Biggie was on. I'm looking in the mirror, so you could look through the mirror and the television was behind me. So I was watching the video through the mirror.
I need a new chair.
One More Chance was on. And I think he was already gone or something. So I was just looking and was like, you know what? Start thinking I had to get myself mad and notice that I didn't have to. That's what scared me. How I knew I had mental health problems was I pulled the trigger.
You actually pulled the trigger?
Yeah, I pulled the trigger.
Where'd you shoot?
In my chest. Didn't feel a thing from my heart, and didn't feel a thing though. So I wasn't going through any pain. It was a shot. I woke up to the police knocking, and I was like, that's what woke me up. Mind you, the wall.
Tell me that's not deep.
Yeah, I'd heard this story before.
Everybody heard the story, but
It
we
was
never
just
knew that he
super.
was attempting to take his own life because he thought he was going to lose everything about rapping. He thought his mama was going to take it all away because he got in trouble at school.
Mm.
Did you ever think about committing suicide when you were a child?
Yes, I
Did
did.
you ever attempt?
I took a few sleeping pills
I
in my
believe
time.
that I unconsciously wanted to die, so I did things that I believed people would react in that type of violent manner, which I did because I was angry.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I would put myself in so many situations. I've I've jumped people, I've been jumped. I've motivated fights, I've been motivated to fight, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've played both sides of the coin, that is what I know is angry, get angry, fight. That's something that my two older brothers motivated within me. I don't know if you remember the story, but like I said, it's not easy to have to deal with people who aren't taught to love you, but you're told to love.
Yeah.
And to have the therapy to be able to say, you know what, I forgive them. I let that go and I forgive them. And for me, it's like there are specific things that I remember. And people go, how do you remember all of that? And I go, I don't know. But I can remember specifically some of the mental traumas that made my life even more. Like I said, I'm not a jump around type of person. I've
Hmm.
seen my mama and her sister whoop my stepdad and the white chick that he had in the car from cheating. You know what I mean? Um,
You muffled real quick.
oh, from cheating.
Okay.
Excuse me. But yeah, from cheating. Like, um, I've seen what angry people do to each other when they're in love, and it's like I've said that's something I'll never do. And there are things that I accepted at one point or another while interested in someone that was also in the same form of mental trauma that I was raised up around, that I said I'd never be involved in. But we don't have control over these things because we're not perfect.
This is true. I mean, I have always maintained that, like I think we talked about on the last episode, that I do not tolerate disrespect. So, like, the moment you start to yell at me or you start cussing in conversation with me, I'm like, because I've seen where it just escalates and escalates and escalates and then it becomes violent. And I don't ever want that to happen to me. So I will just automatically remove myself from that type of situation, but I am able to identify that because I've had therapy, right? Because I realized that once I get to a certain point with my own anger, I can become physical. So whether it's I'm worried about you, I'm worried about my own self because I don't ever want to put my hands on anyone.
I totally
I don't
understand
never
that
want to
one
put
right
my hands on
there.
anybody that I love. So, I just know, like, when you start cussing at me, that triggers me. That triggers me. And I want to start to, start shooting back. And my mouth is going to get more nasty, my tone, my demeanor, and it'll just escalate from there. So for you and me, when you start to get louder, start to curse, I'm just going to, back away from the situation.
I oh man, there there are so many situations. Like I said, um, I have constantly stayed aware of one, my state of mind and my state of being when being with someone, because of the simple fact of people, guys aren't honest. And like for your situation, for you to have to deal with a guy in a violent manner, that is even more scarier than my situation because I am a guy. And even though they may even though they may not be as violent with you, for male on male, males can get as violent to the point to where they do kill.
Hmm.
And
I've
that's
seen
what a
that in the
lot of
streets too.
yeah, and that's what a lot of guys that's what a lot of people don't know. How many honestly black LGBT deaths there are from relationships.
Hmm.
They just think numbers, oh, this is how many deaths, da 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 da. They think, oh yeah, an assault victim, da 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 da. Oh, some of these assault victims are men and being assaulted by men and they don't make
Hmm.
it. And it's that's one of the things that is scary about being a black gay man.
Mhm.
Um, mental health wise, there are so many people that are one way until they start drinking. And this is
Yes.
why I'll never mess with somebody if they're drunk. And I've learned this for the simple fact of too many males will make the excuse that they was drunk knowing that they already wanted to do something, they just used the boost the juice to cross the line, you know?
Right.
And that's the thing is it's it's scary to deal with the ones that you don't know what they'll do after. There are some people that honestly can only handle sex with the chick, I believe.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't, but please
I mean, not
explain it.
like, like honestly, like, have you ever dealt with females that like guys too?
Have I ever dealt with a woman that like guys too?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you're
Oh, are you asking me have I dated a woman who's also into dating men?
yes,
Yes. Okay. Yes, I got you.
okay. So, have you ever said to a female, "You need to stick to guys"?
No,
Yeah, like there are there are guys that
I have said like I see why guys say that women are crazy. I have definitely encountered some women who are like hyper emotional that it just makes them behave so irrational.
I was told this is from my aunt who worked her career was the psych ward at Denver Health,
Mm,
40 years.
long time.
She said all women are crazy. She said they're just not insane. She said there's a big gap in between that crazy and insane. She said, and all guys, and this is where I have that statement, all guys are dumb, but they're not all stupid. They just do stupid shit. And that's why women break up with stupid men and men break up with insane women. But all guys love a little crazy.
That is true.
For real. And all women love a little dummy.
Oh, yeah. I
I
guess you're
thought
right about
that was
that.
like the
I
stupidest.
had to think about it. I was like, do I? I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I do. The big, that's what I just said earlier, right? The silent stoic, the big dumb
Right?
ones that you're quiet and they
And that's
fix
the whole
everything.
and that's the whole thing. It's just in general, like why guys, we can do book smarts, okay? We can read information and learn information with our hands, right? Skills to do electrician, plumbing, um, bricklaying, tree chopping, you know what I mean? Whittling, all of those things. We can learn those things, hunting, boating, hiking, canoeing, you know what I mean? Sports. We can learn all of those things. However, in general, the emotion that's connected to dealing with people, that's something that women have.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, your auntie is a wise woman.
She just worked once again, repeating the Wayans. Once you do something for so many hours, you're pretty much an expert at it. Once you did it for over
Absolutely.
10,000 hours, you're pretty much an expert in it. I help people fight for life for over 10,000 hours. My aunt helped people fight for life for over 10,000 hours. She's got like triple duty in that. Like, you know what I mean? Not only did she help people fight for life, she helped people with mental issues fight for life on her floor. Until the state changed up the regulations on housing mental health patients here in Colorado, once again, it's she was there at Denver Health, and then she went over to run the East Side Health Clinic, and that was where she retired from as the head of the East Side Health Clinic. Um, do you have any recommendations for therapists for Black people? Because we can make ourselves vulnerable. As Lil Wayne has shown, we can make ourselves vulnerable. We have to admit. I mean, those are big things to admit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You took your life because people didn't believe that you loved hip hop that much as a child. And that's what people underestimate, is that our children don't know better. And maybe we underestimate the children.
Yeah. I think in a lot of ways we do. But for now, I want to tell everybody to check out this app. It's called Dive Through, and it is a mobile therapist app. You can go on there and you can, subscribe to a monthly subscription to speak with a therapist. They can match you up with someone. If that person doesn't work for you, they can add someone else. They have, thousands of therapists in their network. I think it's a real easy way to get started. Just start with a weekly phone conversation, maybe a monthly phone conversation, just to get started and really um, dive in and go from there. I think it's a good place to start, and it has lots of affordable options if you can't find affordable healthcare. I know for like Aurora, if you try to get into the Aurora mental health, they are backdated. Like they have a huge waiting list. So something like this can definitely help out.
They are, indeed, they are. Me, myself, I would like to recommend something that Charlemagne the God is part of. It is called the Black Mental Health Alliance. And all you have to do is go to blackmentalhealth.com and just check it out. There are several references to not just Black mental health, there are several references to all mental health. But at the same time, though, it is catered to Black mental health in general, because we have to start conversating about the taboo in our communities, that we know that there are therapists that know the same informations, and yet this information that we hold on to, that is destroying our lives, that we need to let go and just get honest feedback on ways to deal with triggers and how to deal with these triggers that cause the anxiety and the depression and so many other things. Just check out the website once again. Yours was
So you guys can find me on my Instagram, The Mortgage Queen Tia, or my Facebook, Talisa Hawkins, or Talk with Talisa on YouTube.
mine's is Chris Lucas Diggins on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. The show is Black Conscious Convo. And you can find us on Facebook as the same. On Instagram, it is BCC. And yeah, you can catch the playbacks of the podcast with me and Miss Queen all day on our website, blackccent.com. Anything else you want to say before we leave, young lady?
No, sir. I'm waiting for you to give that awesome ending that you always do.
Alrighty, everybody. Remember, conversation rules the nation. Action speaks louder than words. Y'all have a great evening.
Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream or drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who did it, cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill them, you can end up in correction. Some look for the needles and drugs for injections. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, then the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an M. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad, imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain in life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story.